Hey there YouTuber, so in this video we're going to install the ID Cooling SE-914 XT onto this MSI Pro Z690A motherboard. Now, of course, you guys all noticed the PCIe slot is damaged. I bought this motherboard off eBay, 60 bucks. So I use it for testing various things out, but obviously not a graphics card in that spot, right? So when we put a graphics card in, it'll be one of these other locations. Otherwise, you know, pretty awesome motherboard for its features. So this is about the CPU cooler, though, installing it. We've already got our I7-12700f installed, and I'm going to use this for basically a shootout between CPU coolers, see how they do. Now, to start with, you're going to remove the tape off here. That's going to allow the adhesive to stick to the underside of this. I'm going to leave mine on though, because I'm just going to reuse this so many times. And if you honestly aren't going to keep the CPU cooler in there, if you're going to switch, then like I am, you'll find, you know, if you take that off, it's going to stick and just end up leaving the adhesive behind. So putting this on here, folks, it's pretty much symmetrical, right? But we could do it this way, or we could go that way, right? So I'm gonna leave it like that. And what you want to see on this side is that the posts are popping up, right? As long as you're doing that part, you're off to a good start. Now, the questionable thing is, folks, which direction to put these guys in. Should be the short side end of this, because if you go the longer side, it's going to end up sticking up. I don't know if the directions actually cover that aspect. It's kind of hard to see the directions. So, yeah, if you can see in here what's going on, good luck. All right, I even got my glasses on, I can't tell. So, for the most part, folks, I do like ID cooling CPU coolers. And now, the fact I have that tape on there is a little concerning that, you know, this thing might not seat all the way down like we want it to. However, the way this is designed, it should actually turn out all right. So you want to know which way to put these on, right? This is the same distance as this to that. And if we look at our CPU cooler orientation, this has, it's not symmetrical, right? So it's basically wanting to be, let's see, further away from the RAM, like that. And the fan is on this side. So you'll want it oriented like that, which means if you saw the screws, the threaded post has to be over here, and it'll look like that orientation. And then we come in with our screws. So this design is honestly kind of similar to Noctua. This is, well, I say similar, it's pretty much the same exact thing. I actually like this design better than any of the other designs. And as we go through this painful process of installing, uninstalling all these, you can see, if you watch the video length of how long it takes to install one of these, certain ones take longer. Alright, so thermal paste, do we have thermal paste lying around? ID cooling. Tube sitting here. And hopefully there's enough in here. I'm just going to spread it out a little bit. You know, you could put one big dot in the middle. You can do all kinds of things. As long as you get a decent spread on there. Don't want too much, don't want too little, right? Thermal paste is going to fill all the cracks and hopefully have this thing sit nice and flat. All right, so like I said, we want it oriented like this. And then we're going to grab either a number 1 or a number 2 Phillips head. Come in there. Hopefully you got it lined up. I don't think I do. Nope, I do. And like I said, folks, so I'm going to put a few threads on that side, then come back over to this side. Try and get this, a few threads on here, then we'll tighten it down. When you remove this later, kind of do it in the reverse order. Don't unscrew all of them from one side. Now, if you wanted to test how well you put the thermal paste on after you tighten this down, you could do that, and then clean it up, reapply it. All right, so now we can tighten this down. I don't know how many minutes this video is taking. Of course, I yapped for a couple minutes in the beginning. So that's in there. And we'll just make sure the other side's tight. Make sure these are tight. So we hand jam those in. Probably should have did this before I put the CPU fan on. All right, everything's nice and tight now. Now, CPU fan. Specific way I want this oriented. Our CPU fan header's back here. So I want the cable to be on, basically leaving this side, the right side at the bottom, okay? And I'll show you one side how this clips on. All right, so I've got this on here. I'm gonna grab both sides and voila, get that hopefully in there. Like I said, this is pretty much a rip-off of the way Noctua does some of theirs. So, good thing, folks, RAM clearance is good here. We could have installed the RAM first on, some CPU coolers. You have to do that. In this case, you can do it after the fact. Now, on our motherboard, good question. Which one is the CPU fan header? Let's turn the light on. Right here. The other one's optional, and then this is a case fan header. And boom. That's all we got to do, folks. Install a RAM in here. That way I keep the same RAM for all my videos. So you notice didn't put that in right. One side is longer than the other. And our box is taking a beating. So I've installed so many motherboards or CPU fans in this thing. This thing is starting to not like it. Double click, and we're done. Thanks for checking out the video, folks. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you.